All right, everybody, what's going on? And welcome to today's edition of Swag Talk. Of course, this is the show. We cover the swag inside and out, and I'm your tour guide around the swag. See what's coming at you. And it is time to recap week 8, man. A little bit later than normal, but we here now. Um, Homecoming week was what it was supposed to be, man. Great homecoming at SU. I know it was a great homecoming in Jackson. Valley and Alcorn, man. I know y'all probably had some nice festivities up to the game, but the game didn't go the way y'all wanted it to. But it's homecoming has come and gone for those four teams, and it's homecoming week for TSU this week. So this is their actual homecoming after playing two other homecomings. So the TSU Tigers are looking to be 3-0 on homecomings. Nice little streak right there. So hey, salute to y'all, man, for wrecking two homecomings, and now you finally get to celebrate your own. So, like I said, it's homecoming now. I think it's homecoming. It's homecoming in ah yeah. All right, never mind. And of course, it's Boombox Classic. So you know what I'm saying, man. You already know how that goes down. So we're gonna get it on, man. And I think it's also homecoming in Tallahassee for FAMU as well. So hey, let's get it in, man. Let's go ahead and jump in these games, man. As you know, the socials are on the screen, so you can check those out at your leisure. Facebook is Swag Talk, Instagram Swag Talk, Twitter Swag Talk 76. You see the little icon in the screen over here over my shoulder or whatever. I don't know here. That's Cash App, man. You can hit that up if you want to show a little love. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you have subscribed, man, want you thank you very much. And then won't you tell a friend, man, to check us out. Like this channel, man. We're trying to get to 800. We're getting there, so let's keep on doing what we do. Like the videos and share them and hit that notification bell so you can be alerted to any videos that I drop. And feel free to comment on your thoughts on week 8, man. The swag race is shaping up. We'll look at the standings after we go through these games. And nothing's been solved in the West right now, but a lot of moving parts are going to be coming in the next 2 weeks. So we'll get a clearer picture real soon. So let's go ahead and jump into these games, man. And we're gonna start with Southern defeating Virginia Lynchburg by a score of 51-7. This game was probably the definition of a team kind of getting through a game to get to the next game because Southern and JSU are on a collision course in the conference this year. So this game was a game that, regardless of the the future opponent, this was going to be a tough game to get through because you're playing a team that you're better than and you're on a roll. And you're coming in this game. Southern was short 11 guys because of the Prairie View incident. So this was a game you kind of wanted to get through, and it was homecoming, all kind of distractions. But I thought Southern played a decent first half. Second half, they did a much better job of being more engaged and taking care of the ball and doing what they had to do. So um, Southern scored first. Gerard Sims a 1 yard touchdown run, extra point good. That made the score 7-0. Josh Griffin got a 33-yard field goal for Southern to make the score 10-0. Carl Ligon would run a 44-yard touchdown for Southern, extra point good, 17-0. Isaiah Taylor would catch a 34-yard pass from Bashawn McCray, extra point good, 24-0. Then Virginia Lynchburg would get a 14-yard touchdown pass from Vanell Andrews to Ronnie Faison. Extra point was good. That was a 24-7 lead at that point, and that would be the halftime score. Southern would come out in the third quarter with 11 minutes and 22 seconds remaining. Bashawn McCray 2 yard touchdown run, extra point good, 31-7. Braylon Morgan would catch a 56-yard pass from McCray, extra point good, 38-7. Cassius Allen would catch a 48-yard pass from Harold Blood to make the score 44-7 after the extra point. And then Shamar Zaragoza, 23-yard pass from Noah Biden, extra point good, 54-7. Excuse me, 51-7, and that would be the final score of this game. Virginia Lynchburg 5 first down, Southern 27. The Dragons minus 27 yards rushing, minus 1.1 yard per carry on 24 carries. Southern 202 yards on 43 carries. 4.7 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns. Virginia Lynchburg, 10 of 26 passing for 95 yards. They did have the 1 touchdown. Southern, 413 yards passing, 24 of 31, 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. This that 431 yards passing is the most that Southern's had since the in over I think it's like 36 or 37 games in a row before they broke the 300-yard passing rate mark again. So this was, I mean, something just to kind of to look at the fact that Southern hasn't thrown for over 300 yards in the last 36 games or so before this one. So not a huge milestone or anything, but just something worth looking at. 68 yards of offense for the Dragons on 50 plays, 1.4 yards per play. They did fumble twice, but didn't lose any. They had 11 penalties for 90 yards. Southern, 615 yards on 74 plays, 8.3 yards per play. They fumbled 3 times and lost 1. And they had 7 penalties for 44 yards. The Dragons punted 43 yards, 43.7 yard average on 11 punts, including an 88-yard punt. Man, I mean, it was a booming kick. It rolled about 20 yards, but still, hell of a kick for them to put under their belt. Southern, 44.5-yard average on 2 punts. Time of possession, Virginia Lynchburg, 25 minutes and 2 seconds. They were 3 of 15 on third downs. They didn't go for a fourth down. They were 1 for 2 in the red zone. They had 2 sacks on the night. They were 1 for 1 on extra points, and they were 0 for 1 on field goals. Southern, 34 minutes and 54 seconds time of possession, 7 of 13 on third downs, 2 of 2 on fourth downs. They were 4 for 5 in the red zone. They had 8 sacks on the night, and they were 6 or 7 on extra points and 1 for 1 on field goals. Fennell Andrews, 10 of 26 for 95 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He was sacked 8 times. McCray, 18 of 22 for 286, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. Noah Biden, 3 of 4 for 70 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, no sacks. Harold Blood, 3 for 4 for 57 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 2 sacks. Bubba McDaniel, 0 for 1 with an interception. Bruno Prosper Canum led the Dragons with 7 carries for 8 yards. Torrey Wallace, 2 carries for 2 yards. David Anderson, 3 carries for 2 yards. Samari Matthews, 1 carry for no yards. Faison, 2 carries, -7 yards. Andrews, 9 carries, -32 yards. Ligon led Southern with 9 carries for 68 yards and a touchdown, averaged 7.6 yards per carry. Sims, 8 carries for 50 yards, 1 touchdown, 6.3 yards per carry. Foutier, 7 carries for 48 yards. He averaged 6.9 yards per carry. Morgan, 9 carries for 40 yards. McCray, 3 carries for 14 yards and a touchdown. Thomas, 1 carry for 4 yards. Gray led Virginia Lynchburg with 6 catches for 45 yards. Faison, 2 catches for 43 yards and a touchdown. Dominic Perks, 1 catch for 4 yards. Lawrence Jones, 1 catch for 3 yards. Cassius Allen led Southern with 5 catches for 124 yards and a touchdown. Morgan, 3 catches, 66 yards and a touchdown. Taylor, 2 catches, 59 yards and a touchdown. Whitfield, 3 catches for 54 yards. Sims, 2 for 38. Zaragoza, 2 for 23 and a touchdown. McGee, 1 for 22. Ligon, 3 for 12. Dyson, 1 for 8. King, 1 for 7. Resto led the Dragons with 10 tackles. Porter Bow, 8 tackles. Reeder, 8 tackles. Burns, 7. Davidson and Coker and Sila and Holmes each had 5 tackles apiece. Tackles for loss. Ferguson, 1.5. Porter Bow, 1. Davidson, 1. Holmes, 1. Resto, 1. Jenkins, half a tackle for loss. Sacks went to Ferguson with 1.5, and Fortabo with a half a tackle for loss. Half a sack for Ferguson, half a sack for Fortabo. Interception went to Sila. Southern was led in tackles by Gibbons with 6, Campbell with 5, Williams with 4. Tackle for loss, Brown with 3, Campbell with 2, Monroe 1.5, Collins 1, Jones 1, Givens 1, Peterson a half a tackle for loss, Ivy a half a tackle for loss, Shorter a half a tackle for loss, Farmer and Potts each had a half a tackle for loss. Brown 3 sacks, Campbell 2, Collins 1, Monroe 1, Jones 1, and forced fumble was by Campbell. Southern had no interception, so this was the first game since the TSU game that Southern did not force a turnover. So pretty much, the game went, kind of like it was supposed to. Southern took care of business against an overmatched opponent, and now they obviously move on to take on Jackson State on Saturday. Big news with that game, college game, they will be in Jackson for that game, so that's a huge thing to witness. A nice historical thing for both schools. So definitely something. If you're in the area, you can make it out for that. Please do. I know the game is sold out pretty much, so might be tough to get in when you fit in on that, but should be a great atmosphere. And they honestly could not have picked a better game for this opportunity. So salute to both schools on that. And definitely salute to JSU for the work that they put in this season. And we'll talk about the Tigers and their big win in a few minutes. But next, we're going to talk about Bethune-Cookman picking up what I think may be the last chance bowl. I think this was a game that both teams definitely needed to win. Valley, especially, I think there's not a lot of there's not a lot of possible wins left on Valley's schedule. So you really kind of want to get the dubs when you can, because I don't think there are any for sure wins or even games that I would say that they have a better than 50% chance of winning. So not a lot of wiggle room for them. But Bethune-Cookman definitely needed this win because they as well have had a rough go, and they don't have very many games left on their schedule that I see them being favored in. And as you can see, this was a shootout, man, 45-35. And you can see the difference in my score and that score. I did not think this game would have that much offense, but it really had this was a game, if you was there or you watched, this was an entertaining game, honestly. Valley scored first. Ja'Cory Rankin, 29-yard pass from Jamari Jones, extra point good, 7-0. Amari Hill Robinson, 97-yard pick six for Bethune-Cookman. No extra point, no good. 7-6. Valley had the lead. Terry Lindsay, 9-yard run for Bethune-Cookman. 2-point conversion was good. 14-7. Wildcats led. Kamari Everett, 24-yard pass from Jalen Jones. Extra point good. 21-7. Sylvester Campbell caught a 24-yard pass from Jamari Jones. Extra point good. Valley trailed 21-14. Halftime score was 21-7. Third quarter, Marcus Riley caught a 73-yard pass from Jalen Jones to give the extra point was good, give the Wildcats a 28-14 lead. Jacoby Thomas would get a 2-yard run for Valley to make the score 28-21 with the extra point being good. Then immediately, Darnell Dees, that man, kickoff return, 98 yards for a touchdown. Bethune-Cookman led 35-21. Kobe Bates returned the ensuing kickoff. So back-to-back kickoff returns in this game. Kobe Bates, 97-yard kickoff return. Extra point good, 35-28. Dylan Margaham kicked a 20-yard field goal for Bethune-Cookman to make the score 38-28. 2 minutes and 11 seconds left in the game. Ja'Cory Rankin would catch a 16-yard pass from Jones. 38-35 was the score then. And then Quayshawn Bird would score a 26-yard touchdown with 42 seconds left in the game to give Bethune-Cookman a 45-35 victory. Like I said, this game had everything, man. Big plays all around, pick sixes, kickoff returns, touchdowns. Definitely you want to check this game out. These two teams were going at it, man. They fought hard in this game. Both teams wanted this dub. 22 first down for the Wildcats, 23 for Valley. 226 on the ground for Bethune-Cookman on 35 carries, 6.5 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. Valley, 203 on the ground, 43 carries, 4.7 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. 274 through the air for Bethune-Cookman, 18 of 30. No interception, 2 touchdowns. Valley, 13 of 29 for 218 yards. They had 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. 500 yards even for the Wildcats on 65 plays. They gave them a 7.7 yard per play average. They fumbled once and lost it. Valley, 421 yards on 72 plays, 5.8 yards per play. They did not fumble. Bethune-Cookman, 6 penalties for 72 yards. Valley, 9 penalties for 145 yards. So those 2 interceptions and 145 yards of penalties are definitely a huge difference in this game. I mean, one of those interceptions led directly to points. So that's definitely a turning point in the game. 27-yard average for Bethune-Cookman on punts and 39-yard average for Valley on punts. Time of possession 28-27 for Bethune-Cookman. 5 of 13 on third down, 0 for 2 on fourth down, 2 or 3 in the red zone. They had 4 sacks. They were 4 for 5 on extra points and 1 for 1 on field goals. Valley, 31 minutes and 33 seconds time of possession. 2 or 3 on fourth down, 2 or 3 in the red zone. They were 5 or 14 on third downs. They had 3 sacks, and they were 5 or 5 on field goals, and they did not have extra points, and they did not attempt a field goal. Jalen Jones, 18 of 30, 274 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked 3 times, had a long of 73. Jamari Jones, 13 of 28, with 218 yards and 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 3 sacks. TJ Goodwin was 0 for 1, and he was sacked once. Bird, 17 carries, 109 yards, 1 touchdown. He averaged 6.4 yards per carry. Jalen Jones, 15 carries, 94 yards, 6.3 yards per carry. Terry Lindsay, 3 carries for 23 yards and a touchdown. Jamari Jones led Valley with 16 carries for 101 yards. He had 6.3 yard average. Caleb Johnson, 15 carries for 62 yards, 4.1 yard average. Jacoby Thomas, 8 carries for 45 yards. He had a 5.6 yard per carry average and 1 touchdown. Ranking 2 for 2. Fant, 1 carry, no yards. Goodwin, 1 carry, -7 yards. Riley led Bethune-Cookman with 6 catches for 139 yards and a touchdown. Alvarez, 2 catches, 63 yards and a touchdown. Ellington, 5 catches, 40 yards. Lee, 2 for 14. Powell, 2 for 12. Bird, 1 for 6. Rankin led Valley with 6 catches for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. Gardner, 1 catch for 29 yards. Campbell, 2 for 26 and a touchdown. Bates, 1 for 25. Jean, 2 for 24. Edie's 1 for 21. Bethune-Cookman was led in tackles by Eford with 8. Loving with 6. Walls with 5. Smith and Poe with 4. Tackles for loss, Smith with 2. Rosendo with 1. Cunningham 1. Loving, Walls, Hall, and Eford each had a half a tackle for loss apiece. Sacks were by Rosendo with 1. Smith with 1. Loving, Walls, Hall, and Eford each had a half a tackle. Each had a half a sack apiece. Interceptions were by Hill Robinson, who had the pick 6, and Hampton had an interception. Valley was led by Johnson with 6 tackles, Reed with 5, McGee, Thomas, Jennings, and Carey. Rawlings and Bell, they each had 3 tackles apiece. Tackle for loss, Bell 2.5, Thomas 1.5, Fox 1, Rawlings 1, Martin 1, and Banks with 1. Sacks, Bell 1.5, Rawlings 1, and Thomas a half a sack. Forced fumble was by Bell, recovered by Smith, and no interceptions for Valley. So like I said, this was a very entertaining game. I'm actually going to go back and watch this game as soon as I get done with this. I want to see all those big plays, man. This was, this is the kind of game that you want between 2 teams who kind of are fighting for their lives. Both teams came out and they both made plays. And they played it out to the end. It came down to a late score by both teams to kind of make the final margin what it was. So big game for Bethune-Cookman, big victory. Valley fought hard as they tend to do, but they still have yet to get over the hump on the winning side. So we'll see if Valley can right the ship and get themselves back on point. Valley, I think Valley has a bye this week, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check this. Yeah, Valley is off this week. They actually have a game next on Thursday, November 3rd against A&M. So they're off this week. Bethune-Cookman heads to Prairie View, so they have another long road trip. They head to Prairie View to take on the Panthers. So big another road game for Bethune-Cookman. They're road warriors, and they head back out on the road again. The next game we're gonna cover is Prairie View and Lamar. Again, Prairie View was short 10 guys, but it obviously did not make a big difference. As you can see, the difference, my score and in the final score, I thought Prairie View would I thought they would win, as you can see, but I didn't think that they would have the explosion because I didn't know who was out, so I tried to play it safe. But the Panthers did not play it safe. They came out and they took care of business and they knocked the Cardinals off 54-21. This game Prairie View pretty much had control of for the most part. Jaden Stewart started the game off with a 56-yard run for Prairie View for a touchdown. Extra point was good, 7-0. Michael Chandler will get the Cardinals on the board with a 2-yard run. Extra point good, 7-7. Trezon Connolly will get a 7-yard touchdown run for the Panthers. Extra point no good, 13-7. Lamar Antoine will get a touchdown for Prairie View from 1 yard out to make the score 20-17. Collier Ricks will catch a 16-yard pass from Connolly to give Prairie View a 27-7 lead after the extra point. Then Lamar will get a 3-yard run from R.J. Carver. Extra point good, 27-14. Connolly will get a 38-yard run for Prairie View to make the score 34-14 after the extra point. And then Kalen Griffin will get the Cardinals on the board again right before half from 3 yards out. Extra point good to make the halftime score 34-21. Connolly will get Prairie View on the board to start the third quarter with a 5-yard touchdown run. Extra point good, 41-21. Kobe Washington, 21-yard pass from Connolly, 48-21 after the extra point. And then Connor Wisham will get a 1-yard run for Prairie View. Extra point no good, 54-21. So big victory by Prairie View. They really came out and they took care of business. 25 first downs for the Panthers, 24 for the Cardinals. 401 yards rushing for Prairie View. On the night, 44 carries, 9.1 yards per carry, 6 touchdowns. Tremendous work on the ground for them. But Lamar ran the ball for 358. So both teams ran the ball extremely well in this game. 358 for Lamar on 64 carries. Both teams ran the hell out of the ball. 5.6 yards per carry for Lamar and 3 touchdowns. 179 yards passing for Prairie View, 15-21. They did have 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Lamar, 72 yards passing, 9 of 19, no touchdowns, 1 interception. 580 total yardage for Prairie View on 65 plays, 8.9 yards per play. Prairie View did fumble 3 times, but they only lost 1. They had 3 penalties for 24 yards. 430 on total offense for the Cardinals on 83 plays, 5.2 yards per play. They fumbled twice and lost 1. And they had 5 penalties for 54 yards. So not a lot of penalties in this game. This was actually a pretty quick game. Both teams kind of kept the ball on the ground for the most part. Prairie View averaged 33 yards per punt, Lamar 36. Time of possession, Prairie View 23 minutes and 41 seconds. That's amazing to consider they ran the ball for over 400 yards. Lamar 36 minutes and 19 seconds time of possession. And that one of the things that goes to show you that time of possession is not a huge stat to consider because obviously, you can score pretty quickly and the opponent can hold the ball. That doesn't mean you're going to score. 5 of 11 on third down for Prairie View. 0 for 1 on fourth down. They were 5 of 5 in the red zone. They had 1 sack on the night. 6 of 8 on extra points for Prairie View. And they did not attempt a field goal. 36 minutes and 19 seconds, as I said, for Lamar time of possession. They were 4 of 15 on third down, 2 of 5 on fourth down. They had 3 of 5 in the red zone, and they had no sacks. They made all 3 of the extra points and no field goals attempted. So nobody attempted a field goal in this game. Connolly, 15 of 21, 179 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. Michael Chandler, 7 of 16 for 43 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, no sacks. Jacoby Longino, 2 of 3 for 29 yards. No touchdown, no interception. He was sacked once. Jaden Stewart, 9 carries, 141 yards for Prairie View and a touchdown. He averaged 15.7 yards per carry. Connolly, 12 carries, 119 yards and 3 touchdowns. 9.9 yards per carry. Antoine, 7 carries, 100 yards and a touchdown. 14.3 yards per carry. Wisham, 4 for 33. 1 touchdown, 8.3 yards per carry. Goodwater 3 for 15. Brooks 6 for 6. And Griffin led the Cardinals with 17 carries for 114 yards and a touchdown. He averaged 6.7 yards per carry. Harris 8 for 59, 7.4 yards per carry. Chandler 9 for 49 and a touchdown. He averaged 5.4 yards per carry. Carver 10 for 48 and a touchdown, 4.8 yards per carry. Dummett 4 for 34, that's 8.5 yards per carry. Bowden 6 for 28. Umbadi 1 for 18. Longino 6 for 17. Dennis 1 for 2. Heron led Prairie with 6 catches for 94 yards. Ritz 2 for 23 and a touchdown. Washington 3 for 20 and a touchdown. Howard 1 for 18. Jones 1 for 12. Simmons 1 for 7. Goodwater 1 for 5. Dennis led Lamar with 2 catches for 29 yards. Ray 2 for 16. Dummett 2 for 15. Bowden 2 for 7. Stevens 1 for 5. Defensively, Jesse Evans led Prairie View with 12 tackles. Schenkel 11. Franklin 8. DeCurry 8. Johnson 7. Lewis 7. Reese 7. Marshall 7. Tackles for loss. Stanford and Evans each had 2. Jackson 1. Schenkel 1. Reese 1. Victorian 1. Carter and DeCurry each had a half a tackle for loss apiece. The sack went to Stanford. Interceptions went to Jackson. Lamar was led in tackles by Tyler Jackson with 9, Paul Hill with 9, Rockwell and Arnold with 8, Hambert with 5, Gauthier with 5, Jamon Jackson with 4 tackles for loss. Jackson 2, Jingy with 1, Arnold, Gauthier, Bell, and Johnson each had a half a tackle for loss apiece, and no sacks. No fumble, no interception. So big road victory out of conference for Prairie View. The running game was tremendous. The passing game was complimentary in this game. Nothing outrageous, but they took care of the ball through the air and were able to make some timely passes. The run game was tremendous. The run defense was not that good. Obviously, giving up over 350 on the ground, but you held them out of the end zone for the whole second half, and you were able to get a victory on the road. So nice victory for Prairie View. They fly back into conference play on Saturday as they take on Bethune-Cookman. So good victory against a Lamar team that's doesn't have a good record, but that team is a little bit better than their record seems. But Prairie View came out and took care of business. So big victory over a Southland opponent for Prairie View. Texas Southern, huge road win against Alcorn. I think at this point you can't call any victory that Texas Southern has from this point on an upset. I wouldn't even have called any early season victories upsets. Maybe the way the games went was not the way you figured, but this team is, they are a factor in the division. And we're going to talk about the division standings, like I said, at the end of the show. But this was a big victory on the road for TSU. Alcorn is on a bit of a slide now, so they're going to have to try to right the ship. But this Texas Southern defense has been playing well. The offense, made the plays that they needed to. Special teams, did their job. You really can't ask for much more on the road at that. Like I said earlier, this is TSU's second homecoming victory on the road in 2 games. So, they seem to thrive in these kind of environments. And they're sitting in a pretty decent spot right now. TSU got the scoring started when Andrew Body had an 18-yard pass, 18-yard touchdown. Extra point was good. 5 plays, 44 yards. Score was 7-0 after extra point. Aaron Allen, 65. Why are they saying? Okay, the box score is all messed up. Allen, 65-yard pass, 2 plays, 69 yards, 7-6. Juan Anthony, 62-yard pass from Allen. Extra point good, 13-7. With 38 seconds left in the game, TSU will get a touchdown. Extra point good, 14-13. Howard, 34-yard touchdown run for Alcorn, 20-14. 37-yard field goal for TSU to make the score 20-17. Then Lewis will get a 73-yard punt return for Texas Southern to make the score 24-20. Owens a 10-yard run for TSU to make the score 31-20. Then another field goal for Texas Southern to make the score 34-20. And then Alcorn will get a 16-yard pass with about 16 seconds left in the game to make the final margin 34-27. So a pretty comfortable win for TSU, honestly, in this game. So big victory for the Tigers. Like I said, they came out and they took care of business. 19 first down for TSU, 23 for Alcorn, 196 yards on the ground for the Tigers, 47 carries, 4.2 yards per carry, and one touchdown. 114 yards rushing for Alcorn on 35 carries, 3.3 yards per carry, one touchdown. That Texas Southern run defense is pretty good this season. They're ranked in the top half of the league in run defense. So they are playing a lot better defensively all season. 97 yards passing for TSU, 12 of 20 for one touchdown, one interception. 396 through the air for Alcorn, 28 of 42, three touchdowns, three interceptions. 293 total offense for TSU on 67 plays, 4.4 yards per play. They fumbled once, didn't lose it. They had 5 penalties for 35 yards. 510 total offense for Alcorn on 77 plays, 6.6 yards per play. They had 4 penalties for 45 yards. 30.7 yard punt average for TSU, 34.3 for Alcorn. Time of possession, 30 minutes, 15 seconds for the Tigers. 3 of 13 on third down, 0 on fourth downs, 4 or 5 in the red zone. They had 4 sacks, and they were 4 for 4 extra points, 2 or 3 on field goals. 29-45 time of possession for Alcorn, 6 of 15. Third downs, 1 or 2 on fourth downs. They were 1 for 2 in the red zone. They had 4 sacks, and they were 3 for 4 on extra points, did not attempt a field goal. Andrew Body, 12 of 20, 97 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked 4 times. Allen, 27 of 41, 379 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He was sacked 4 times. Body, 22 carries, 79 yards. Owens, 13 carries, 74 yards, and a touchdown. Howard, 11 carries, 44 yards. Owens, 5.7 yards per carry. Howard, 4 yards per carry. Jarvion Howard, 23 carries, 135 yards, and a touchdown. He averaged 5.9 yards per carry. Duffy, 5 for 5. Leatherwood, 1 for 1. A.J. Bennett, 3 catches for 26 yards for TSU and a touchdown. King Blanton, 1 for 21. Leary, 2 for 15. Mitchell, 1 for 12. Lewis, 1 for 11. Masters, 1 for 9. Hamilton, 1 for 7. Shane, 1 for 6. Howard, 1 for 5. Anthony, 8 for 121 for Alcorn and a touchdown. Hunt, 4 for 29 and a touchdown. Griffin, 5 for 87. Rogers, 5 for 45. Howard, 1 for 16 and a touchdown. McNair, 1 for 10. Adams, 1 for 7. Melton, 1 for 6. Jones, 1 for 5. Duffy, 1 for 1. TSU was led in tackles by Jacob Williams with 10. Tariq Cooper with 8. Akins with 7. Pippins and Hamilton with 6. Anderson with 5. Tackles for loss. Williams with 2. Charge, 1.5. Smith, 1. Pippins, 1. Williams, 1. Anderson, a half a tackle for loss. Bozier, half a tackle for loss. Akins, half a tackle for loss. Sacks went to George Smith and Pippins, each with 1. Bozier and Williams, a half a sack apiece. Interceptions, Williams, 1 interception. Hamilton, 1. And Fuller with 1. Alcorn was led by Charles with 9 tackles. Kinsler with 7. Ellis with 6. McGee with 6. Rice with 6. Melton and Woods and Bailey each had 4, along with Dawson. Tackles for loss. Charles 2. Rice 2. Kenny 1. Bailey 1. Ellis and Cole each had a half a tackle for loss apiece. Sacks went to Charles with 2. Rice with 1. Bailey with 1. Interceptions was by Kinsler. And like I said, this is a big victory for TSU. They keep themselves in the race. Alcorn is looking a little bit more dicey. Excuse me, no margin for error for either team at this point, but they both are still in it. The West race will come down um, to the next couple of weeks. So big victory for TSU. They step out of conference play for their homecoming this week. So they finally get to host the homecoming and not have to worry about ruining the homecoming. Alcorn heads to the hole to take on Grambling. So they have to get right back on the horse. I mean, this can, they have to stop this slide. They're playing kind of up and down ball right now, but they have a shot. TSU is in a good place. That victory over Southern is really looking good for them at this point. So they are sitting nice in terms of tiebreakers at this point. The last game of the week was our game of the week, and this was a game that the victor went the way I thought it would. The margin was similar to what I thought it would be, but I thought it would have a little bit more scoring. And that's JSU 22, Campbell 14. JSU defense obviously is for real. I mean, I don't know how many times we had to say that over the course of the season. The offense, you know, didn't really get going the way they normally do. They kicked a lot of field goals in this game, and Campbell played fairly well in this game. But JSU, they did what they had to do, and they passed that test. I know a lot of people, some people want to diminish Campbell now that JSU beat them. That doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna hype them up before the game, you have to keep them on that level. I thought this was what it was, a solid victory over a solid FCS opponent who would probably be a playoff team, maybe even a Big South champ. So this by no means it is a worthless game. I never looked at it as the Super Bowl for the SWAC or nothing like this. Because JSU is a good team. I mean, I don't know, why people are still surprised that JSU is a good team. They answer every question that's put in front of them. You can only play what's on your schedule. We can go back and forth about who they should schedule and who they shouldn't schedule, but when your schedule comes out, that's all that you can do is play those teams on your schedule. And if you beat all those teams on your schedule, then what else can you say? This was a good game. I mean, Campbell was up for the challenge, but they just could not, they could not get over the hump. No pun intended. But JSU big victory. I mean, there's no other way to say it, and they continue to roll. That they can win games ugly. They can win games in blowouts. I mean, this is a good team. I mean, you see them win in multiple ways, and I don't know how many times I have to say this is a good team. JSU got the scoring started with in the first quarter with a field goal from Mata to make the score 3-0. Campbell would get a touchdown from Williams. Also in the first quarter to make the score 7-3. Mata would get a 25-yard field goal for Jackson State, 7-6. And then with 20 seconds left in the first half, Mata would get a 26-yard field goal to make the score 9-7, and that would be our halftime score. DJ Stevens would catch a 48-yard pass from Shedeur Sanders to give JSU a 15-7 lead. Then Wilkerson would score in the fourth quarter with about 3 minutes left from 4 yards out. Extra point was good. JSU led 22-7. And then with 28 seconds left in the game, Hill caught a 13-yard pass from Williams to give Campbell a deficit of 22-14. And that was our final score. So basically, this was a 15-point victory. Obviously, you can't erase those 7 points at the end, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, this game was over. With 28 seconds left, onside kick and a Hail Mary, 2-point conversion, who knows? But it didn't go that way. So JSU picked up the victory. Campbell 13 first down, JSU 20, 110 yards rushing for Campbell on 3.1 yards per carry, 36 carries, 1 touchdown. JSU 178 yards on 40 carries, 4.5 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. 137 yards passing for Campbell, 16 of 31, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. 233 through the air for JSU, 23 of 31, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Total offense, 247 for Campbell on 67 plays, 3.7 yards per play, one fumble. They lost it. They had 7 penalties for 58 yards. 411 total offense for Jackson State, 71 plays, 5.8 yards per play. They fumbled twice and lost 1. Turnovers seem in games like this. Turnovers seem to be one of the things that does hamper JSU. Nobody's been able to capitalize on that thanks to that JSU defense. 6 penalties for 58 yards. 40.7 yard per punt average for Campbell, 37.6 for JSU. Time of possession, 27 minutes and 6 seconds for Campbell, 6 of 17 on third down, 2 of 4 on fourth down. They were 2 for 2 in the red zone. They had no sacks. They were 2 for 2 on extra points. No field goals attempted. 32 minutes and 54 seconds left. Time of possession for JSU, 2 of 14 on third down. That's a very uncharacteristic number, and that's one of the reasons why Campbell was able to stay in this game so long. 3 of 3 on fourth down for JSU. They were 4 of 6 in the red zone, and they only had 1 sack on the night. It's rare that JSU doesn't get multiple sacks in a game. 1 for 2 on extra points, and 3 for 3 on field goals. Campbell, Williams, 15 of 28, 131, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. This says he was sacked twice, so I guess JSU did have 2 sacks instead of the 1. Masco, 1 for 12. 1 for 2 for 6 yards. Peterson, 0 for 1. Sanders, 23 of 31 for 233 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. McDowell, 9 for 48 for Campbell on the ground, 5.3 yards per carry. Williams, 11 for 31 in a touchdown. Rogers, 13 for 22. McKay, 3 for 9. Wilkerson, 24 carries, 116 yards in a touchdown, 4.8 yards per carry. Martin, 11 for 56. 5.1 yards per carry. Sanders, 4 for 7. Hill led Campbell with 4 catches for 33 yards and a touchdown. Rogers, 3 for 31. Kelsey, 3 for 24. Height, 1 for 7. Fitzgerald, 2 for 14. McKay, 2 for 13. Anderson, 1 for 5. And that's it for the Camels. Daniels led JSU with 6 catches for 63 yards. Stevens, 1 for 48 and a touchdown. Hooks, 2 for 25. Hunter, 4 for 24. Marshall, 2 for 18. Powers, 3 for 16. J.D. Martin, 1 for 14. Coleman, 1 for 13. Wilkerson, 2 for 9. Gaines, 1 for 3. Campbell was led by Maddox with 10 tackles. Tillman with 10. Smith with 5. Jones with 5. McNeely with 5. Tackles for loss. Johnson with 1 and Holmes with 1. No sacks. Forced fumble was by Johnson. Recovered by Jones. Interception was by Jones. Jackson State was led in tackles by Aubrey Miller with 13, all solo tackles. He was a tackling machine. Bolden with 5, Huggins with 4, Hunter with 4, Shallow Sanders with 4, Reagan with 4, Williams with 4. Tackles for loss. Miller 2, Huggins 1, Warren 1. Warren a half tackle for loss, and Sanders a half a tackle for loss. Miller, they show Miller with 1 sack. They're showing 2 sacks, but they're only showing 1 on defense. I don't know what happened. Forced fumbles, none. Interceptions, none. Just like I said, this was a good game. I mean, this is the kind of game you expect, from a non-conference matchup between 2 conference leaders. JSU came out on top in front of a big homecoming crowd, and that sets up a big matchup for them against Southern on Saturday. Obviously, I said, college game day would be in the house, so just a big overall swag atmosphere. Should be a tremendous atmosphere. When Southern and Jackson hook up, you're always gonna get an electric crowd. So that makes for that. Let's run through the actual schedule for next week. Like I said, Southern and Jackson State, 1 o'clock kickoff. This says ESPN Plus with the ESPNU replay at night, but I wish they would flex that to the ESPN2 or something. That game deserves it. Bethune-Cookman at Prairie View, 2 o'clock kickoff. Alcorn at Grambling, 2 o'clock kickoff, ESPN Plus. Lincoln, University of California is at Texas Southern for the Tigers homecoming. AT&T Sportsnet Southwest, that's a 2 o'clock kickoff. Bama State and A&M, Magic City Classic. ESPN 2:30 kickoff. Birmingham, Alabama. FAMU hosting UAPB, Rattlers homecoming, 4 o'clock. HBCU Go. So that's our schedule. Valley is off. Valley's the only team off this week. So the Devils get to rest up before their next matchup. Let's take a look at the standings before we get up out of here. Jackson State continues to lead the East at 4-0. They're 7-0 overall. FAMU 3-1. They're 5-2 overall. A&M, Alabama A&M 3-1. They're 3-4 overall. Bama State 2-2, 4-3 overall. Bethune-Cookman is 2-2 and 2-5 overall. Valley is 0-5 and 0-8 overall. Southern is 3-1 in the SWAC and 5-2 overall. Prairie View is 3-1 in the SWAC and 4-3 overall. TSU is in third place now. They're 3-2 and 3-4 overall. Alcorn is in fourth place. They're 2-2 and 3-4 overall. Pine Bluff and Grambling are tied at 0-4. Pine Bluff is 2-5. Grambling is 1-6. Like I said, these next couple of weeks, the West will start to clear up. Jackson State is going to play a big part in that. Southern plays Jackson State this week. Next week on the 5th, TSU plays them. So, and they still play Alcorn at the end of the season. So JSU is going to have a big hand in how this West race turns out. Southern, Prairie View and Alcorn also play on Friday, November 4th. So there's still a lot of movement left. Nobody's got it in hand. Tiebreakers are definitely in play. So but we'll go over those as we get closer. Once they start to be more relevant. But the West is pretty much a crapshoot. You have 4 teams who have a chance to win this. And if you remember at the beginning of the season, I said it. Multiple other people said it. The West was going to be up for grabs. I said 2 or 3 losses could win this division, and that's still possible. Somebody could win it with 1, but it can easily be a team with multiple losses that wins this division. So it's up for grabs and it's wide open, just like we all thought it would be. The East is going pretty much as we thought it would be. JSU first, FAMU is second. FAMU would need JSU to lose twice to win the division. So barring some kind of unseen circumstance, JSU will win the East. And probably most likely will be playing at home in the championship game, unless they lose a game. But we'll see how that happens. But right now, that is our East and West standings. And like I said, we went over our Week 9 schedule. We'll be back on Wednesday to recap Week 9. And Thursday, Swag Smoke live at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll recap Week 9 on Sunday. So that's going to do it for us. And, man, y'all have a good rest of your Sunday. And we'll catch y'all on the next episode of Swag Talk. We out of here. Peace.